How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Let's Play Darksiders, a game that is like a cross between 3D Zelda on one hand and Legacy of Kain or God of War on the other, with the window dressing of biblical apocalyptic imagery. Yeah. I really like this game. I'm excited to do this LP, because it's a criminally overlooked hack and slash from last gen. It is very good. Unfortunately, there's a pretty sad story that goes along with Vigil, the team that made this. For now, we don't have that much time to get into it, but the Cliff Notes version is that Vigil had been through hell. With the now defunct THQ, there were layoffs, there's been studio shutters. They've been through the ringer. Vigil got burned, and its ashes were scattered to the wind, is one way of putting it. Also, before we get in there, shoutouts to Ludwig Viselius for picking this for me. He got to pick an LP for me to do because we had over $3,000 raised during the Gaming Against Mental Illness charity marathon, and if I do say so myself, he made an excellent choice requesting that I play this. So I've said enough for now. The opening cutscene is loading. We're about to get started.
Since the dawn of time, the armies of heaven and hell have waged an endless war. Drawn to the conflict was the Charred Council, an entity bound by ancient laws to preserve order and balance. It held that any great power, unchecked, threatened the very fabric of the universe. In time, heaven and hell came to honor the council and its laws, for none were beyond the swift and terrible justice of the council's enforcers, a fearsome brotherhood known as the Four Horsemen. Amid the turmoil, the first humans emerged. The council foretold that these weak but cunning creatures would someday be integral to the balance. Thus, a third kingdom was named, the Kingdom of Man. By order of the council, a truce was forged between heaven and hell. The Great Pact was bound by 7 seals to be broken at the appointed time, when man's kingdom stood ready for the end war, a battle that would bring balance and determine the ultimate fate of the 3 kingdoms.
Okay, we finally have gameplay. I don't like parts of that opening cutscene, especially the CG bit that directly precedes this, because it's not a very strong representation of the actual game, which has, you know, color and personality and soul as opposed to just being generic gray and grim. It doesn't quite have that same vibrant palette and the whimsy that Legend of Zelda has, a game that heavily inspires it. And it crosses over more into, like, God of War-ish territory with its tone. But it's chock full of just straight 90s comic book style, giant, over-designed characters and demons. Oh, man. Giant heads, giant hands, tiny heads. Stylized visuals, nice varied color palette, especially once we get into some of the later sections, once we get past the opening tutorial bit here. It's like a really heavily toned down, reined in Spawn, which I kinda love. And that makes a lot of sense, because the art designer for this game is a guy named Joe Mad, who, if you're into comics, you might recognize his name because he's a fairly well-known comic book artist who is most well-known for the Battle Chasers comic series. And I'm sure he has a much more impressive body of work that I'm just not familiar with. I know he did some X-Men comics in the mid-90s, and I'm going to try to swat that chopper out of the sky with the SUV, because I think this is the only spot you can do that in the game. And it's for an achievement. So, for now, we can pop in and out of our Chaos form, this big, cool lava demon form. It's our Devil Trigger, our Rage of the Gods, whatever you want to call it, Chaos form. We just pop in and out for the time being. Unlimited for now. Some of our abilities are going to get taken away pretty soon. But the game starts you off with a nice selection of stuff you can do. Good preview, a teaser. It's very God of War 2, where the intro stage starts you off with all of your stuff and then takes it away before making you earn it all back.
What is happening?
Look at that health drop. So we now have significantly less maximum health after hearing that clarion horn blow in the distance. Our protagonist finds himself weakened. I realize I haven't talked all that much about the story, although that opening cutscene did do a good job of setting things up. So this story's all about War of the Four Horsemen, who is kind of like an enforcer for the Charred Council, who preserve the balance between heaven and hell. Yeah, the Four Horsemen are like their enforcers. So this story... Oh, hold on. Okay, I still have most of the abilities it starts me out with. They haven't started taking abilities away yet. Just Chaos form and a bit of health. We're gonna lose a lot more soon. But we'll have ample opportunities throughout the game to earn all that stuff back. So I was saying about the story, we start off, the War of Armageddon between the angels and the demons has begun. War comes to Earth alone, without the company of his fellow horsemen, because something has signaled to him that the War of Armageddon, the final war to end all wars, has begun. So we have some fun intrigue to look forward to. The game takes itself kind of seriously, borrows really heavily from Christian imagery and mythology, takes really big liberties with that stuff, but it's got its good, fun, goofy charm too. It isn't so self-serious that it's just like, trying to trudge through this thick grave swamp. I think a lot of it's reflected in just the palette of this game, is that it's not like quite as grim and dark as like a Gears of War or something, where it says it mires you down in its own seriousness, in its own grave reality. It's a little bit lighter, even though, like, it's such a weird thing to try to translate that and get that across to you, is that this isn't that grim of a game, even though it takes place during the biblical apocalypse and mankind is in the process of being wiped out. It's a special kind of game that can not bog you down in seriousness and keep kind of light. It's not like Winnie the Pooh lighthearted romp through the 100-acre woods, but there's something really charming about this. At the same time, very, very bloody and very gory. And, you know, to be fair, still pretty self-serious. Takes itself seriously. I'm talking myself in circles. I just fucking like this game. It's pretty good. So, very much so like God of War, we have our QTE finisher executions. Although they aren't lengthy QTE sequences, it's just you get a little prompt over an enemy's head when they're in a weakened, low health state. You can hit the B button. That'll do some kind of unique context-sensitive finisher. Ooh, that's cool. The combat system, very similar to God of War. Button layout is a bit different, but you have all of the staples. We have a block button that we'll be getting. We have kind of like the Golden Fleece parry system, the just frame counters. We have an evasive roll, which is... Ooh, I like the look of it, but it's a little disappointing in how it actually functions. I like the inky effect on it. I think that's very cool. It speaks to its comic book roots. It just bugs me that you can't cancel out of it. That is my favorite execution in the early game. The one where you would impale the angel from behind and just slam its corpse on the ground. Vicious. You can't cancel moves out of the dash. You can cancel into the dash, like you can cancel an attack and start dashing at any point during the animation of the attack, but you can't cancel out of the dash. So you have like a really long recovery at the tail end of the dash animation. So long that it's not quite fun to use on its own. It's purely pragmatic.
Impossible. Abaddon. What is this? Where are my brothers?
This cannot be. The final seal.
My lord!
How did this happen? The seventh seal was not broken!
Abaddon! What in heaven's name have you done?
I answer the call.
real quick, what you're supposed to take away from that is that there are 7 seals. When the 7th and final seal is broken, that is supposed to be the signal for the beginning of the War of Armageddon. But that 7th seal was never actually broken, so the war began prematurely. So we have some kind of intrigue going on. Nobody on the angel side of things quite knows what's going on. War doesn't know what's going on, and he's slowly losing his powers. And this is Straga. Straga is pretty much a Warcraft villain. That's slowly what I'm realizing is that all of these characters look like Warcraft 3 or WoW designs. So we got nothing but flaming cars and ruined streets to look forward to on this fight. Exactly like every time I've ever been to Philly. So we have a cycle that we're gonna have to repeat 3 times. He's gonna pound his fists into the ground, create a shockwave. We gotta dodge that. He can kind of upheave the street that we're on and tilt it around and slam it and create shockwaves, which will do damage if we're on the ground. And he will toss wrecked cars at us, which we could throw back at him. And every time we throw 2 cars at him, we hit him with 2 cars, it'll give us a little bit of face time with him, a little bit of time to do damage to him. Just gotta repeat that 3 times. I don't think actually getting in his face and doing air combos to him will speed up the fight. I don't think it works that way. I think you have to do 3 cycles no matter what. But while we're doing these necessary 3 cycles, repeating this a couple times, this is the last I'm going to say about this game being self-serious, because I think I actually have a good way of summarizing my thought on that. It takes itself very seriously. The tone is pretty heavy. And yeah, like the war that ends humanity between heaven and hell, yeah, it's like grim-ass subject matter. What I figured out, what I'm trying to say about this, is that, yes, all of that's true, but it's not miserable. And it takes a very special kind of game to deal with that subject matter and to be about what Darksiders is about without being miserable. And I appreciate the hell out of that. Now let's finish off Straga for now. Down to 1 bar of health and severely weakened now.
The law has been broken. And so have you, horsemen. The law is clear. When the 7th seal is broken, 4 horsemen shall ride forth to punish the wicked, be they sons of men, lords of heaven, or the dregs of hell. All upon the earth will be judged, and the pact forged anew. You forget your post, horsemen. You forget the law. No call was given, yet the destroyer marched, and there you were found, under his black banner, if the claims are true. To hell with your claims! The seals were broken! I was summoned! Then where are the other horsemen? Were they not summoned as well? The 7 seals are hidden, as they have been since the pact was forged eons ago. All of them intact. There was no call. You aided the Dark Ones, broke a sacred covenant that has doomed mankind, and threatened the balance. Do you deny it? When I rode, heaven and hell were already at war. Abaddon was there. He knew something. Abaddon fell, fighting off the chaos you unleashed.
I fought powerless against the demons, and still you accuse me?
Your defeat proves nothing. Likely the Destroyer cast you aside when he was finished with you. You have defiled the law, horseman. You will be punished.
I serve only the Council. Only the balance. As the horsemen always have. Send me back. I will punish the ones responsible.
How? What hope do you have against the Destroyer's armies? You are powerless.
Then I will fail, and the demons will have carried out your sentence.
Very well. You will return to the Earth. But you will be watched. Come forth. The Watcher is bound to you. It will ensure your loyalty.
Remember that, or I will really get under your skin.
Lie, swore, and arm yourself.
Oh, I love how the Chart Council are just the Cave of Wonders from Aladdin. So War stands accused of abdicating his duty as an enforcer to the Chart Council, who maintain the balance between heaven and hell, and riding with the Destroyer and starting the War of Armageddon prematurely.
Chaos Eater. The angry blade thirsts for destruction.
Chaos Eater. This game would have a sword called Chaos Eater. Yeah. So that becomes our primary goal in the game now, is to ride out, mete out justice, and absolve ourselves of this crime that we've been accused of. And as soon as we pick Chaos Eater up, we gain our first magical ability, which uses our kind of MP or mana system called Wrath. And we can slot that to X. Kind of quick select that. So Blade Geyser is our new AoE spell that we'll get to use soon.
The souls of the dead will be your currency. Some enemies are more easily bought than killed. Seek the demon Vulgrim. Few can afford his services, but perhaps you can strike a bargain.
The Council confers with demons now, does it?
Since the truce was broken, some demons have fallen from the Destroyer's favor. Vulgrim is one such outcast. He has long sought an audience with us.
How long have I been here?
Looks like our trajectory was a little off. Not so fast, horseman. lay down a few ground rules. Until this is over, you're a dog on a leash. I say bark, you bark. And if I have to kick you, you'd better not bare your teeth. Understand? Or should I teach you to play dead? Good boy.
Okay, that's gonna do it for now. We're getting ready to pull out of the tutorial section pretty soon. But until next time, thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.